Hi, I'm Chris Haigh and this is the Fiddle channel, and today we're going to play an Irish jig called the Blackthorn Stick. Now this is a very simple jig, but it's an interesting one to look at for the bowing and also for ornamentation. So we're going to look at both of those. One reason this is a slightly unusual tune is that it has a whole load of quavers and very few crotchets, which makes bowing potentially more boring, potentially easier, but you have to find a way of making it work. So I am going to start off just by showing you the melody, and then we'll look at the bowing, and then we'll look at ornamentation. So we start off with an up bow. Let me just show you the fingering I use at the beginning of the B section. So I'm putting the third finger down and I'm keeping that on as I'm playing the second finger. So it stays on all the way through the first 2.5 bars. And there, for example, I'm keeping my first finger on there. It just helps to anchor it, to help keep you in tune, and that's a general rule, I think, that if you're going up a scale, then keeping your 3 fingers on as they go up rather than putting one on and lifting off the previous ones, that always does help. Right, let's just do that again with the backing, then we'll talk about the bowing. Now, if you're new to Irish fiddling and you're reading this, then the chances are that what you're going to want to play is which is an affront to an Irish fiddler, but it's where you have to start out. So what is wrong is that you're playing 6 equal bows, each like 4 inches long, and that really is not the way to do it. I tend to put quite a lot of emphasis on the first of each 3 notes. So the emphasised notes are about 2 inches long, and the second and third of each 3 are really short. They're like a centimetre. And what you're thinking about is down, up, up, rather than down, up, down, up, rather than that, which really is, it's a lot of physical effort and it has no musical value whatsoever. So think of, and I do, when I'm teaching this, I try to get people to make those notes almost disappear, and it's difficult, it's not easy at all. that's the kind of thing you're aiming for. Down, up, down, up. The only exception to that is the end of each bar, end of each line, when I'm doing down, up, up. And that happens each time at the end of the line. So that is just to get you to keep the same pattern. So let's try up to tempo, and this time try and da 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 da. Try and get that emphasis on the 1 and the 3, and this will give it a lot more drive and it will be a lot less physically demanding. Now, you don't have to bow it like that. You can put quite a few slurs in if you want. Just as an exercise, let's try doing 3 notes to the bow. And so on, and you can see it has various difficulties doing this, because when you get, for example, then you lose that note. There's various ways around this. You can put some kind of ornament in there. Or you can do if you alter the notes so you don't have 2 the same, so you lengthen the first one. That's another way around that one. So it's an interesting challenge to do this, to do down, 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 and just see what you have to do with the melody in order to make that work. It'll force you into making small variations, and variations are part of the spice of this kind of music, so it's a good exercise to make yourself do it. Of course, there are other ways of doing it, which would be to maybe slur 3 and then bow 3 separate, something like this. And that in fact works quite a lot better. So a mixture of separate bows and slurs and little variations if you feel like it. Now let's look at ornamentation. There's 3 different ornaments that you might put in here, and most of them you're going to modify the melody ever so slightly in order to do it. So the first half bar of each line is a good place to put in a roll. So we're doing, it's like in classical music it would be a turn. But almost all of the note is taken up with the first note, and then as fast as possible you do the 3, 2, 1, 2. And I do have a video about rolls which you might find helpful. So you can do this every time at the beginning of the line. Now there it won't work because you can't really do a roll very easily on an open string. So yes, I would save that for the first, second and fourth line. There's a thing called a treble, which is a bowed triplet, which fits quite nicely into this tune. And I used this as an example on my video about the treble, which is what made me think of doing the Blackthorn Stick. In this case I'm doing the triplet on an up bow, so I'm starting on a down, and then up, down, up. Some people will only ever do bow triplets starting on a down bow, but I, for some reason, have often played them starting on up bows, and this seems a particularly appropriate tune because I can't make myself do. I can't get that to work. But however you feel you can make that work, then that's what you should do. So check out the treble. Also slides in the same place as the rolls. And in order to make the slide work, I'm lengthening the first note into 2 parts of the 3. So by mixing and matching those 3 different things, the rolls, the trebles and the slides, you will get a lot of interest out of the tune. Incidentally, I should have said this at the beginning, there is a tune called the Blackthorn Stick, which is a set dance in Ireland and is a waltz and is completely different, so don't get the two confused. It's also called The Coach Rode to Sligo, which is the title I first learned it under, and it's not only an Irish tune but in England it's used for rapper sword dancing when it will have a slightly different feel to it. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you'd like a copy of the dots, then do subscribe and send me an email and I'll send you a copy, and I'll see you again soon.